this one house, Wi-Fi didn't belong to the kids. It belonged to her. Every single night at 9 p.m., this kid's mom would walk over to the router, unplug it, and announce, "The internet is closed. See you tomorrow." Didn't matter if you needed the internet for something. She would always unplug it at 9 p.m. Well, one night, this kid is sitting at his kitchen table. He's finishing a huge essay that's due at midnight. The clock says 8:59 p.m. He's typing. He doesn't really notice the time, but he's cooking. He's writing this freaking essay. He's ready to get an A on this thing. 1 minute passes. Boom, it's 9 p.m. Oh, what happened? I'm sorry. You had all day to prepare for this. Too bad. This is a huge essay. I'm almost done. I need like just 10 more minutes, please. I said you should have planned better, son. Too bad. This kid is absolutely livid. He tries to figure out a way to get Wi-Fi from his neighbor's house or to have someone drive him to like a Starbucks or something, but he couldn't figure it out. Well, midnight comes and goes and the essay was never uploaded. And he's worried because if he gets a 0 on this, his grade is going to severely suffer. Well, the next day at school, he tells his teacher what happened. And the teacher looks appalled. Yo, your mom cut the Wi-Fi while you were doing your essay? Yeah. Man, that sucks. Listen, I'll extend your deadline for tonight. You should be able to finish it after school. Oh, totally, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Your mom sounds like a piece of work. Yeah, she is. And that night, he was able to finish it. What a good teacher. Water's a reward. You don't just get it because you're thirsty. This house is a desert. At this house, water wasn't a right. It was a privilege. Every day after school, this kid had the same rule. No exceptions. Drop your backpack, sit at the table, and do your homework. No TV, no snacks, no water. His mom would say it every day. Water is a reward, not a right. Well, one day he gets home absolutely dying of thirst. He makes a quiet move towards the kitchen. He almost reaches the faucet. Don't even think about it. She's already standing there, arms crossed. Homework first. So he's at the kitchen table, math textbook open, mouth dry as sandpaper, watching the faucet drip. 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 He finishes his homework. He gives it to her. Messy work. Do it again. Bro almost passed out right there. When he finally earned a glass of water, she handed it to him like a prize at a carnival. Here's your water. You did really good. The next day at school, he took extra water fountain breaks because he never knew how his mom would act when he got home from school. What kind of club are you running here? The best kind. One day at this one school, this student figured out that you don't need a teacher sponsor to start a club. All you had to do was fill out a form, write a purpose, and show that there was student interest. This one kid, he invented a club that he called the Indoor Nature Appreciation Society. He said it was for students who loved nature but hated going outdoors. He made posters with stock photos of trees and waterfalls. He took fake meeting photos with his friends. He even listed fake officers. President, himself. Vice President, also himself. He submitted the paperwork and nobody questioned it. A week later, the club got approved. A month later, it got funded. A $500 budget. He spent all of this money on snacks, custom t-shirts, a giant banner with a fake logo, and a director's chair for himself for some reason. After a while, the principal pulled him aside and said, "There's no way this is a real club." He just shrugged and said, "I mean, we do appreciate nature, just from a distance." The best part is he would schedule actual events called observation hours. This is where they would drag 5 or more chairs and put it in front of a big window in the library, and they would all just sit there for 45 minutes, looking out the window. Look, a bird. Oh, nice catch. The principal, who was already suspicious, came by. Okay, what exactly is this? Shh, we're appreciating. Yeah, eventually the club got shut down, but the t-shirts, they wore those almost every day for the rest of the year. It started as a punishment. This one school made a new rule called silent lunch. No talking, no whispering, no noise. Principal said it was to help students reset their behavior. But it didn't reset anything. It just made kids miserable. Lunch felt like a detention. Everybody just sat there, chewing, in complete silence. Plastic spoons hitting trays, a single juice box slurp from down the way. For this one kid, he had an idea. The next day, he walked in quietly. He opened his lunchbox, and he pressed a button on this little speaker. It was bird sounds. Like the kind you hear in nature. It wasn't music, it was like a calm forest vibe. The teachers looked over, but they didn't say anything. Technically wasn't talking, and it technically wasn't breaking the rules. So he did it again and again. By the end of the week, 3 other kids were bringing in their speakers as well. One kid played rainforest noises, another kid played waterfall sounds. This one dude was playing a recording of whale noises. And the wild part, it worked. The lunchroom got calmer, but not in a weird way. It felt peaceful. Students were sitting in silence, eating to ambient waterfall loops and jungle bird noises. The teachers were like, honestly, this is not bad. People were loving this. The next week, the principal walked in and froze. The lights were dim. Some kid brought a lava lamp. And this lunchroom, the silent lunchroom, had turned into a full-blown spa. He just stood there blinking, smiled to himself, turned around and left. He thought, maybe I actually did something here. This is nice. And no one said a word. You know, that's actually amazing. Dumbest things people got in trouble for at school. In middle school, this kid's grandma had just passed away, and it was his first day back after the funeral. This is kind of what happened. Did everyone turn their homework in? I only count 17. And there's 20 of us, so who didn't turn their homework in? I didn't. And why didn't you turn it in, Kyle? Did you even do it? You should know this. My grandma just died, and I was at her funeral over the weekend. I'm sorry, but I wasn't thinking about homework. Well, that's a shame, Kyle. I'm giving you a 0 for the entire week. Are you dead, Kyle? No. Homework is more important than funerals, as long as you're alive. Well, that pissed him off, and he lost his mind. You are an absolute... My grandma just died. She was my favorite person in the entire world, and I was at her funeral over the weekend, and now you're punishing me for not doing some stupid math assignment? Screw you! I wish you died instead of my grandma. That's it! Go to the office right now. Good heavens. He explained what happened to school administration, but nobody cared. He was suspended for a week. This teacher had the weirdest rule. So this kid, let's call him David. He was in middle school, and this one teacher had a lot of weird rules, but one rule stood out to be the most weird. At the end of every class, students were required to shake this teacher's hand before leaving. Every single day. It didn't matter if you were sick, your hands were sweaty, or you were holding all your books, you had to shake this teacher's hand. And now David, like a lot of others, thought that this was the dumbest rule ever. Like, why is this even a thing? Creep. Well, one day, he decided to test it. Alright, class is over, the bell rings, everyone's lining up to shake this person's hand like he's the dang president. When it got to David, he just walked right past. Excuse me, David. Yeah? What do you think you're doing, man? I'm leaving, man. Not until you follow the rule like everybody else. I'm not shaking your hand, you weird... The whole class goes silent. The teacher, fuming. He walks to the door and he blocks it. Well, if that's the case, you're not leaving, you weird. Now David's stuck. He can't just leave, and the entire class is watching this entire thing go down. David sighs. He slowly reaches out his hand. Fine. Goes in for a handshake. That's right. Now as their hands are about to touch, David inhales and fakes a ginormous sneeze. Spit goes all over this teacher's face. You know, everybody just get out of the classroom now. Just go. The next day, the rule was gone. I guess the teacher tried talking to the principal, but the principal told him that it was kind of creepy in the first place to make all your students shake your hand before leaving class. I agree. So one day in 8th grade, this school had a fire drill. Pretty normal, the alarm goes off, and the teacher lines everybody up. But this one kid, he had a plan. I have a plan. See, earlier that week, the teacher said something that gave him an idea. If there's ever a fire class, you should only take the essentials, okay? So, while everyone walked out with nothing, this kid sprinted out carrying his entire desk, chair included. He was full speed hauling it through the hallway. Hey, why are you taking your desk? Young man, what are you doing? And he just yelled back, "It's an essential!" And then outside, while the whole school stood in the parking lot, he sat down at his desk, like it was a normal school day. He started pulling out his notebooks and he was taking fake notes. The kid was a real comedian. Everyone was dying of laughter. Teachers were too confused to even yell at him. And then when the principal finally came over and asked, "Hi, what are you doing?" He just shrugged and said, "I thought we were evacuating, so I evacuated my education." Okay. And after that, every single fire drill, someone tried to take something bigger out with them. It became this crazy thing that people were doing, until one day the principal got on the intercom and begged. During fire drills, students, please, stop taking the furniture outside with you. Please. Honestly, that kid's a legend. This kid named Matt was spending the night at his friend's house for the first time. They had been best friends since the start of the year, but he had actually never stayed at his house before. Everything was pretty normal at first. Pizza, video games, all that. Before bed, the dad walks into their room and says, "All right, boys, remember, no flushing the toilet after 10 p.m., okay?" Matt just laughs. He thinks the guy's joking. "This ain't no joke, son. I'm serious. If you have to go, go, but don't flush until morning." Then he just walks out. What's that about, dude?" "Yeah, man, my dad's really strict about the water bill. He says flushing at night's a waste." "Bro, what if I gotta dump one?" "You just don't, okay?" All right. Weird, but whatever. Matt and this kid go to sleep. Fast forward to 2 a.m. Matt wakes up, and of course, he's gotta go to the bathroom. He tries to hold it, but it's impossible. His stomach is rumbling, if you catch my drift. So finally, he sneaks out of bed. He heads to the bathroom. He's extra quiet. He does his business and then stands up. When he stands up and looks into the toilet, he's debating. Should I flush or not? There's literal in there. He's gonna flush. This is stupid. Big mistake. Within seconds, he hears footsteps. Fast footsteps. Coming straight for the bathroom. Before he can even react, the door swings open. His friend's dad is wide awake, standing there, staring at him. Get out. Okay, I'm going back to sleep. No. Get out of my house. Alright. It was 2 a.m. He had to call his parents, wake them up, and they had to come get him. He told his parents what happened, and they'd never let him go to his best friend's house ever again. Good morning, this is Channel 3 School News with your top story. At approximately 9:08 a.m. yesterday, a 6th grade student constructed a fully functional toll booth in the main hallway, using nothing but masking tape, a clipboard, and what seemed to be a strong sense of purpose. Eyewitnesses state the student was wearing sunglasses and would stand there with his hand out, calmly stating, "That's $1 to pass, exact change only." Over the next 12 minutes, multiple students complied. One teacher walked through without paying, and she was booed. It's just, what makes you so special? We're all paying the toll, so should you. So we booed her. By 9:20 a.m., this student had collected $28 in singles and exact change. He offered receipts, he stamped hands. He told students premium passes were coming soon. When asked why he was doing this, this was his reply. It's a good idea, right? I just came up with it. I thought there's no way I'm gonna get away with this. But I did. As the morning went on, the hallway bottlenecked. The late bell rang. Chaos was beginning to ensue. By 9:26 a.m., administration intervened. The toll booth was dismantled, the tape was peeled, and the clipboard was seized. When asked if he had any other things planned in the near future, he responded, "Oh, just you wait." And back to you. You canceled my birthday party? For a B+? Actions have consequences. So this one student got a B+ in math. Not too bad, right? Well, not according to his dad. The dad walks into the room holding the kid's report card. A B+? Are you kidding me? Dad, it's still above average. It's a really hard class. Well, it's not good enough. Give me your phone, now. Wait, what? No phone, and I'm canceling your birthday dinner. Yo, are you serious? Dead serious. The next morning, the dad emails a teacher, saying stuff like, "Why didn't you push my child harder? He's clearly capable of more. You're supposed to challenge him, not let him slack off." The teacher writes back, "Your son has the highest grade in class. He's the only one that got above a B. I'm actually very proud of him." His dad is crazy. The kid finds out about this email. He walks up to his dad and says, "So, can I have my phone back now and maybe my birthday?" The dad just stares at him and walks away. Happy birthday to me, I guess. Bro, say something! He won't, and that's the scary part. So there's this one kid, real quiet. Doesn't talk much in class, doesn't have a crew. Just walks through the day, hoodie up, backpack on, he keeps to himself. And for whatever reason, this other kid keeps trying to start stuff with him. It starts with little jabs, locker shoves, shoulder checks in the hallway. This guy's trying to get a rise out of the quiet kid. But the quiet kid, he never reacts. He never looks mad, he's just always silent. And that keeps making this dude even angrier. He starts saying stuff loudly in the lunchroom. Yo, hoodie kid thinks he's better than everyone. See, he's too scared to speak. There's a whole week of build-up. People start whispering, yo, a fight's happening on Friday. Between who? That big guy Jeff and that kid who never talks. Oh, here we go. And then Friday, passing period, a crowd forms in the hallway. Phones out, everybody's waiting. The loud kid's already in the circle and he's yelling. And the quiet kid, he just walks in. No expression, no talking, he just drops his backpack on the floor. Oh, you're showing up now, huh? You scared? You scared, man? Quiet kid says nothing. Say something, bro. Still nothing. So the loud kid swings. He misses. And the quiet kid, 1 move. 2 moves. It's over. He picks up his backpack and he walks away. By 7th period, people are calling him Silent Mike. The next day, Silent Mike doesn't talk unless it's important. He once got bumped in the hallway and didn't blink. He never even messed up his hoodie. One teacher goes, "Wait, who's Mike?" The Silent Mike nickname didn't really make sense because kid's real name is Darren. Oh my gosh, we made our first $2. No, we actually made $1. We gotta pay the security guard. Here. In some neighborhoods, kids run lemonade stands. Cute little summer businesses, 50 cents a cup, smiles all around. Not on this block, though. On this block, you needed protection. Every Saturday in this one neighborhood cul-de-sac area, these kids would all set up their lemonade stands. Some were different. Some had strawberry lemonade, others had regular lemonade, some was selling fruit punch. It was a nice little thing that the neighborhood kids were doing. Anyway, they'd be all set up and they're good to go. But then here comes this 8th grader. Bike gloves on, backpack over one shoulder. He pulls up to the first stand. Nice stand he got here. Good traffic spot, nice weather today. Would be a shame if someone knocked it over. The little girl selling lemonade just blinks. She's almost gonna cry. But then her friend says, just give him one of our dollars. Hey, it's just a protection fee, okay? Covers you for the whole day. Accidents happen, Have a good one. And he goes to the next one. You guys paying for protection today? Kids are scrambling. They're digging in their shoebox of change. Hands over $1. He nods. Pleasure doing business with you. And just like that, he's off to the next lemonade stand. Kid made $12 in fees that Saturday alone. Now, this guy wouldn't just take the money and leave. And although he came off kind of tough and mean, he actually would stay there all day and watch over these lemonade stands. So I guess they actually were paying for protection. Now, it was a pretty nice neighborhood, so nothing ever actually happened. But, hey, you gotta respect the hustle, I guess. A secret he'll take to the grave. When this guy was a kid, his school had this huge field day event that they did every single year. Basically, on this day, students were free to roam around the school, there were games, prizes, it was incredible. Everyone looked forward to it, but one year, everything changed. On field day, he was grabbing some lunch in the cafeteria. He was messing around with a friend when they saw a little basket of butter packets. He picked it up, put it on the floor, and stepped on it. Well, when he stepped on it, the packet popped and the butter shot across the lunchroom like a rocket, sliding on the floor. Dude, that was sick. Let's do it again. They kept stepping on these butter packets one after another, launching the butter across the floor and giggling to themselves. Hee, this is so fun, right? Well, apparently all this butter had accumulated some feet in front of them in this kind of butter pile. And a teacher who was carrying a tray ended up walking right over it. I love field day. This is a great thing. He crashed down hard and his tray of food went everywhere. Another teacher ran over. Oh my God, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. He was not okay. Something was seriously wrong. An ambulance was called and he was shipped out. Well, apparently this teacher was injured really badly. It was serious. Field day was shut down then and there. And the next day, the principal got on the intercom. Attention students, due to an unfortunate incident, field day will be canceled indefinitely. We are launching an investigation into the events of yesterday's lunch. And that's when it hit him. Because of their stupid butter pack launching lunchtime, field day was canceled. What does that mean for next year? Well, I'll tell you what it means. There wasn't a field day next year. Or the year after that. He was never caught for what he did. And I guess the cameras in the lunchroom didn't pick up on this at all. This teacher was a monster. So this kid, Ethan, was in 1st grade when he learned his teacher had the worst punishment ever. In this class, the teacher had something called the isolation box. It was a tiny old school desk shoved in the corner of the room, in between a bookshelf and a filing cabinet. And if you got sent there, you had to squeeze into the desk, and the teacher would block you in by pulling the filing cabinet to be flush with the bookcase. So essentially, you'd be stuck in this box. Now, Ethan thought this was like weird and pretty messed up, but he never really questioned it, till one day it happened to him. He was talking during quiet time when the teacher snapped, "Ethan! Oh, I'm so sorry. Go to the box now." Once Ethan sits down, she drags the filing cabinet to lock him in. Now, Ethan figured he'd be in there for 5 minutes, tops. But the lesson continued. 5 minutes passed, then 10 minutes, then 20 minutes. Ethan tried to move his legs, he was cramping, but there was no space. He tried to move in his chair, but he couldn't. He was wedged in there pretty good. That's when he realized he was actually stuck. "I'm actually stuck." He tried talking. I think I can't get out." But no response. It's as if the entire class was ignoring him. Finally, the bell rang. He thought he was free, but no. Apparently, the entire class left, and so did the teacher. Help me! Somebody!" 10 more minutes pass. The teacher walks in the room and hears him yelling. Oh my god. Well, that's what happens when you don't follow the rules. Now go on. Ethan left the classroom, traumatized. Fast forward 15 years, Ethan is still living in the same town, but he has an incredible job and he's making fantastic money. One morning, he was heading to the office when he wanted to get some coffee. He pulled up to the local coffee shop. "Yeah, I'm gonna get a large caramel cappuccino, please. Mrs. Johnson." "Ethan, hi." "Oh yeah, one cappuccino." He just smiles, and as she hands him his coffee, "Here you go." He grabs it and then grabs her hand. "Am I following the rules now, Mrs. Johnson? Am I following the rules now?" Good coffee. He tips her a $20 bill and he leaves. "Have a nice life." One day, the school had a guest speaker come for an assembly. The whole school was packed into the gym. Hundreds of students, everyone bored out of their mind. The speaker was some local business guy, and all he was going to be doing was talking about leadership and hard work. Nobody was paying attention until about 20 minutes in, a student, let's call him Kevin, stood up. "Excuse me!" The entire gym went silent. Everyone looked at him. Even the speaker stopped mid-sentence. And in a serious, confident voice, the kid says, "I have a question." Yeah, totally. What's your question?" And then Kevin, without hesitation, asked, "Would you rather fight a gorilla once a year but you get a sword? Or have to fight a chicken every time you open a door forever?" The entire gym lost it. The teachers were stunned. The speaker stood there processing. Finally, I think I'd take the gorilla." And Kevin just nodded. Respectable choice. And he sat back down. Well, as you can imagine, the entire assembly was completely derailed. For the next 10 minutes, students were arguing about the gorilla or the chicken. The gorilla's the obvious choice. I mean, what are you gonna do? Every single time you open a door, you gotta fight a chicken? I just won't open doors, you idiot. Like, that's realistic. How are you gonna go forever without opening doors? Principal finally got on the mic. "Everybody shut up!" And the assembly was cut short right then and there. And after that, the "would you rather fight a gorilla or a chicken" became the most debated question in this school's history. People were making posters and hanging them on the wall. Gorilla versus chicken. Kevin never really said anything about it after that day. But for the rest of high school, people would walk past him in the hall and just whisper, "Hey Kevin, respectable choice." And that's how he became a legend. Hey, what's in your bag? Justice. And 5 deviled eggs. So this one school had this thing where students could bring in their own snacks to eat during their mid-morning study session. It was kind of like a study hall, but everybody was in like one area, I guess. Small town school stuff, you know. It was totally chill. As long as you weren't like throwing food or making a mess, nobody cared at all. Well, one mom had a problem. A big one, apparently. Her kid came home one day and told her that somebody sitting next to her was eating tuna and crackers. And she told her mom that the smell made her lose my appetite. It was gross. Also, low-key, I frickin' love tuna. I'm not gonna lie to you guys here. Okay, tuna and crackers, it slaps. Alright, if you don't like tuna, that's fine. But hating on tuna lovers? Okay, I'm done. So the mom emailed the teacher. "Hi, I would like to request that no odorous or ugly snacks be permitted during the mid-morning study period." Ugly snacks? This is what she meant by ugly snacks. Tuna, hard-boiled eggs, anything pickled, sardines, olives, blue cheese, strong-smelling beef jerky. The list went on and on and on. She ended it with, "Let's keep the school a pleasant place for everybody." Perfect. The teacher forwarded that email to the principal. The principal ignored it at first, but the mom kept pushing. She started emailing other parents. She was asking them to talk to their kids about bringing less offensive snacks. Well, this got back to the students, and the students were done with this. They thought this mom was being crazy. That Friday, a group of 7th graders showed up with the smelliest, most ugly snacks that they could find. Sardines, canned oysters, garlic hummus. One kid brought a whole onion. They called it Stink Snack Friday. The teacher tried to shut it down, but they weren't breaking any rules. Like, it's food. The next week, even more kids joined in. One kid found a local fruit dealer and brought in a durian. A durian! And those things freaking stink! Eventually, the principal sent a message home to all the parents via email. While students are welcome to bring food from home, we are encouraging less aromatic options moving forward. We'll see. But the damage was done. The kids won, and Stink Snack Friday became a tradition. This kid got suspended for selling pencil insurance. So this kid, right, he's kind of smart, he's kind of funny, he definitely knows how to game the system. He notices that every day in every class, someone, every single day, asks to borrow a pencil. So he starts offering a deal. $1 pencil insurance covers you for the entire week. If you lose your pencil, boom, he'll replace it. Need an eraser? You're covered, he's got you. It's actually a good deal. It's way cheaper than buying a full pack at the store. And it absolutely blows up. By Thursday of that week, 15 kids are covered on this pencil insurance. He starts giving out policy numbers. He makes sure that he has one of his insurance agents in every classroom that has an insured client. Carries around a binder, he has terms and conditions. One teacher sees all this and says, "Hey, you can't run a business in class. It's not a business, sir. It's insurance." The next week, he starts offering platinum packages. $3 a week gets you mechanical pencils. $5 a week gets you 2 pencils every time you lose or break 1. That's when the admin gets involved. "Are you selling items on school property?" "No, sir, I'm providing peace of mind." They then suspend him for unauthorized commerce. But on his way out of the building, he sees one of his clients. He says to him, "If you need pencils while I'm gone, talk to my cousin. Spread the word." And his cousin, who did go to that same school, took over for him in his absence. That's absolutely awesome. "No one has ever got 100% in my class." Oh yeah? Watch this. So there's this teacher that every single day brags that no one has ever got 100% in my class. My tests are just too hard. You know, and everyone just kind of tunes her out. But this one kid, let's call him Chris. Chris studies like crazy. He wants to prove her wrong, takes every quiz, takes every chance for extra credit. Final exams come, and he's locked in. He's done, turns it in, he's feeling very confident. The next day, the teacher passes out the exams. 98%? Dang, you did good. Almost too good. Were you cheating? I'm just kidding. My tests are hard. No, I mean I should have got 100%. Okay, settle down, alright? I'm serious. Pull out the answer key. See? Look, right there. Wrong and wrong. Chris looks at the 2 questions she marked wrong. Then he looks at her key. One of them is a trick question. The other answer on her key is just flat out wrong. My answer is right, miss. Your key's wrong. No, it's not. That's absolutely impossible. Chris grabs a textbook off her desk, flips open to the exact page he needs, slaps it down. Right there. Paragraph 3. She leans over and reads it. Chris just smiles. "So do I get my 100 or do you need me to grade the rest of the class as well?" She doesn't say a word. She just crosses off the 98% and quickly scribbles 100% on his test. After that day, she never bragged about her tests being hard ever again. "I'm not here to teach. I'm here to keep order." Shut your mouth. There's this substitute, middle school, real power tripping type of guy. Clipboard in one hand, whistle around his neck, looking like he's coaching for the NBA. He walks into class, first thing he says, "Listen up, I'm not here to be your friend, I'm here to keep order." The whole class side-eyes each other like, who does this guy think he is? 15 minutes in, he's handing out detentions like he's Oprah. "You, detention for talking. You, detention for looking out the window, no daydreaming in this class. You, why are you breathing so funny? You making fun of me? Detention." Kid in the back, let's call him Devin, finally speaks up. "Sir, you're here for 45 minutes. Chill. You better watch your tone, young man." Devin leans back in his chair, smiles, and says, "Bro, you're a spirit Halloween manager with a clipboard. Relax." Ooh, yo. The sub's just standing there frozen, clipboard shaking in his hand. Principal hears the chaos and he walks in. Sees the sub standing there red-faced. The sub then starts tearing up and runs out of the classroom. The principal had to finish the class. "Okay, what'd you guys say to him?" "Wasn't even that bad, dude. Bro's just sensitive." Alright, fine. Just open your books. Let's finish the class. The sub never came back to that school. Absolute KO. So this one high school had a basement. Students didn't really know it existed. It was used for maintenance, storage, stuff like that, and it was always locked. Well, one day, this kid, let's call him Jake, was wandering around the school during his free period when he noticed the door to the basement was kind of ajar. The janitor forgot to lock it, so he goes down there. It was a huge, dusty storage room. Old desks, broken chairs, random junk everywhere. But in the middle of the room, there was this tiny metal box that caught his attention. What is that? So he opens it. Inside the box was a single envelope. He picked it up, felt something inside, and he looked. And what he found in there would make his stomach drop. Oh my God. Inside the envelope was an old student ID. The photo was faded. The name was a name he did not recognize, and the date on it, 1986. Underneath the ID was a set of car keys, and underneath the car keys, a newspaper clipping. The headline, high school seniors still missing, car found abandoned in school parking lot. He slammed the box shut and ran the heck up the stairs. He was getting out of there. He tried telling a teacher what he saw. The teacher was kind of curious, so she went to the basement door, but it was locked. The janitor walks up. Hi, can I help you? Yeah, one of my students was curious about something in here. Do you mind if I come down here and take a look? Looking for like a metal box or something? Oh, sure. Yeah. She goes down there, but there wasn't a metal box to be found anywhere. She thanks the janitor, goes back upstairs, and tells the student, I don't know what you saw, but there's nothing down there right now, so it must have been your imagination or something. Go to class. But deep down, he knows he came across something very sinister that day. This teacher had a secret drawer. When this guy was in 7th grade, his teacher did this weird thing. She had one drawer in her desk that she'd never opened. She'd grab pencils, papers, even her coffee mug from all the other drawers, but that one drawer, she would never touch. One day while she was out sick, that class had a substitute. And in the middle of a lesson, that sub needed a stapler. I need a stapler. Okay. So she went over to the desk and started opening drawers. Grabbed a few things, and then she got to the forbidden drawer, and she opened it. Well, the students noticed her open this drawer. Oh, what is this? Inside the drawer was a McDonald's bag, perfectly intact. The sub went into the bag and pulled out a medium-sized McDonald's fry. What in the world? It looked normal, like it was just bought yesterday. How long has this been in there? I don't know, miss, but honestly, I would leave it. And she did. She put that right back in the drawer and closed it. The next day, the teacher was back, and everybody was dying to know what was up with those french fries. I hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Hey, miss? Oh, yeah, Carlos. Why do you have McDonald's fries in your drawer? The teacher just smirked. Because they never rot. I bought them 5 years ago. 5 years? Holy crap. The class was horrified. But they look completely normal. Exactly. That's why I keep them. It's my little experiment. Food should not look like that after 5 years. In that class for the rest of the year, whenever somebody brought up McDonald's or talked about food in general, she would pull out those 5-year-old McDonald's fries, just to make a point how bad fast food is for you.
So the second year
second year আমি ক্লাস 9 এর পোলাবেন প্রেম করে মামা মায়া তো অস্থির এক্সকিউজ মি আপু এক্সকিউজ মি আপনার নামটা যদি বলতেন একটু
শুনেন বেঞ্চ সাহেব আমার বন্ধু জিসান ঠিক আছে আপনার বান্ধবীরে শুনো
মারি নাই তো শাসন করছি ভালো লাগে না একটু মারতেই পারি কিন্তু খুব খারাপ হয়ে গেছে তুই রবিল নামে সুন্দর একটা রিক্সা ডাক
ভাবি চিনিকে আমার বন্ধু জিসান দিচ্ছে প্লিজ ভাবি আপনি একটু নেন প্লিজ ভাবি
দেখেন ভাবি বন্ধু ধরে না
আবার কল দে
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয় আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর
আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসাতে আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা আমি শুধু ওরে পালি হবে
ওকে আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি আচ্ছা আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন
কিরে মাম্মা, কই রে তুই? কতক্ষণ ধরে দাঁড়ায় থাকবো? কনসার্ট তো শুরু হয়ে যাবো।
তাইলে তো বন্ধু রিত লেগে গেল।
আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা
যা
পারলে তো ভালো।
দেখা যাক কি করে শালা।
বোবা, হ্যাঁ কথা বলতে পারো না?
বেঞ্চ আপ।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম বিয়ান সাহেব।
এক্সকিউজ মি,
বলে দিবেন যে আমার বন্ধুর সাথে যেন ভালোভাবে প্রেম করে, নাইলে কিন্তু ঝামেলা আছে।
যেদিকে তাকাই তোমায় দেখতে পাই, কিচ্ছু ভালো লাগে না।
বন্ধু, তুই যদি রক্ত দেস?
ভালো লাগে না রে দোস্ত।
না দুলা ভাই, আমি তো কোচিং এ যাই নাই, আমার তো বাসায় গেস্ট আসছে আর আমার আম্মু তো একা, এজন্য আমি যাই না।
আমার পড়াশোনা সবকিছু বন্ধ করে দিবে, তখন আমি কি করব?
আরে ছাইরা দে। কি করবি? সেই না চেহারা, না হলো কি চেহারা, কথা তো বেশি চেহারা ওজন বেশি।
আপনি না শুই না না দেখা সব জানা ফেলছেন বাবা।
রক্ত লাগবে রে।
রক্ত?
আসবো না মানে?
হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম।
আসবো না, ঠিক আছে দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা। যাও।
কি রে, তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন?
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল? এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে, তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস, ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগে থাকে।
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল।
গলবে, পাখির মন গলবে, এমন মন্ত্র দেব।
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্তক্ত করে আর নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে, আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল না, আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর।
আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসা চাই, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি শুধু ওরে পাইলে হবে।
ওকে, আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন, আমার তো অনেক ভয় লাগতেছে দোস্ত, এই যে আস্তে আস্তে সব মানুষ জানবে, তারপর আমার ফ্যামিলিকেও জানিয়ে দেবে, আর আমার
অ্যান্ড বেস্ট অফ লাক ফর ডক্টরশিপ। আমি দোয়া করি তুমি যেন একজন ভালো ডক্টর হও।